So the plane stopped in Chicago, and he's supposed to make transfer. But when he's at the airport, he started to bleed profusely. And the doctors couldn't stop his bleeding from his anus. They rushed him to the hospital. When they get him to the hospital, the bleeding continued. The doctor didn't know what to do. They called Tatanisha. I said, Tatanisha, take the compounds and go to Chicago. She flew. 1 hour after she gave her the compound, the bleeding stopped. And the doctor said, what did you give him? I gave him Dr. Sebi's iron tonic. When Lee came back, there's nobody he loved more than me. He bought him. But the reason why Lee took the position of disliking me, it wasn't that he hated me. Black people doesn't hate. We love the very white man that burned us. We fight for him. We know we love him too. That's in us. We love. So Lee didn't hate me. But the food that he'd been eating was undermining his thinking. And now, he bought me an Alpha and he takes me around L.A. He said, I'm going to see Bill, you know, and I'm going to mention your name to him. And he did. In fact, he's with Bill right now. I'm going to see Lee Weaver on Monday in Miami. And he's going to tell me what's going to happen between me and Bill. Because Eddie Murphy's trying to help me. He's trying to make a movie of my life because I helped his mother and understand me. What I want to say is this, though, is that what I did was to find out that the one thing that the physicians were making, the mistake that they were making, they didn't address genetics. What is genetically consistent with a group, not so with another. Like I said, gorillas do not eat polar bear food. So how come we eat everybody's food? We eat Chinaman food, we eat European food, we eat everybody's food. But when I asked the Supreme Court, when you remove the African from Africa, did you bring his food with him? The judge said no. Well, when the judge said no, that they didn't bring our food with us, what does that open up for us to do? What privilege did we gain right then at that moment? No, when I asked the question, did you bring our food with us when you remove us from Africa? They said no. Well then, what have you been feeding us? Besides, are we in the position to demand that they give us the food that God made specifically for us? Yes, it does. But which one of the leaders will do that? Go tell that to Minister Fiacon, the bravest of all. No, he's not going to do that. Go tell Oprah Winfrey, there's a nigger who's running around saying he cure AIDS. Put him on your screen. She's not going to do that. WWRL kicked me off. So what is happening? Is it that our leaders, supposed to, no, not leaders, but supposing to be leaders, are they really helping? No. The black man has always clung to the laws of life, not philosophy. Philosophy has no place in life. It's like the little girl. I was taken to give a speech here in Camden Hall, not Camden Hall, on 138th and Convent, which is City College, here in New York. The day that it was driving me to do this talk, this speech, there's a little girl and a little boy sitting in the back, who is the children of the man that's driving. Son Nieves. He's married to a Puerto Rican woman. Have these two children. The little girl is behind me, the little boy is sitting behind him. The little boy asked me, Dr. Sebi, what are you going to talk about today? I said, I don't know. He said, well, why don't you talk about the soul, the mind, and the spirit? The little girl is 12 years old. She said, no! Don't talk about that! I said, why, Taina? Because when you talk about reality. Soul, mind, and spirit comes out of the imagination. That's not reality. I said, Jesus Christ, what did you say? A 12 years old little girl said that. So when you ask a grown-up, where is your mind? They go like this. But when you open that skull, you see no mind, you see a brain. So I asked one day, what is the mind? Everybody go like this. But then, there's a contradiction, right? They brought me a crazy woman from Mexico. Insane. Where someone is insane, where is the mind? You and I said, she have lost her mind. I said, wow, this mind thing really stretches out. I said, now, if she lost her mind, where did the mind go? So when the crazy woman was brought to me by her son, she was completely crazy. I went to her intestines. A week later, she came up the steps of a little Pearl Street in L.A. She said, you think I don't remember you? I said, I don't know. She said, well, I remember you. You were bare feet. Now you have shoes on. Because I'm always bare feet. Tonight because it's cold. But she said, you know, I remember you well. You know why I took your remedy? Because my son had taken me to many healers and spiritualists, people who read cards and stuff. Shamans. I don't know what shamans are for, but we have shamans too, whatever they're about. But you said, when I was going down the steps, you said, when my son asked you, are you going to help my mother? I said, I'll try. And she said, that was encouraging to me. You didn't say anything more than that, and I appreciated that. I'm no longer crazy after 11 years of insanity. What caused insanity? Something was in her colon, sending off a negative message to her brain via the central nervous system. Sebi Cure in Aruba hated his wife. He hated his wife. He hated his wife with a passion. For 16 years he didn't talk to her, living in the same house. What was wrong with Sebi Cure? When I removed the stuff from his colon, he told me, you see that woman? There's a woman living in the hallway down the way. Go tell her I love her. How come he saw love? Because the acid that was in his body was removed. That's all. We are all stressed. We're nervous. We go to sleep at night, we can't sleep. Charles couldn't sleep. So what did the little girl named Akila Stroud that had sickle cell anemia? I remove it by removing stuff from her colon. And guess what happened? That was the biggest stink in D.C. I was called because Akila Stroud, the little girl with sickle cell, was born 2 years of age. Mr. Dick Gregory said that God gave us sickle cell to fight malaria. Oh, yes, he did, in Cromwell Hall, at Howard University. I was there. I heard it. So when people hear these kinds of things, you believe them, right? Because Dick Gregory said it. He's supposed to be an authority, right? By whose standard? I don't know. But he have not cured any disease either. So this white lady brought it up to me. She said, well, you haven't given a kilo protein. I said, Dr. Steinberg, this is at the Georgetown Pediatric Hospital. They caught up with me and the family because we snapped the baby out of the hospital. But by the time they caught up with us, she was killed. 3 months later. It only takes 3 months to cure sickle cell. So they want to condemn me. She goes through my files that I was, my record on Akila, and she noticed, you didn't give a kilo protein for 3 months. I said, Dr. Steinberg, do you want to rest your argument on protein? She said, well, of course, unless the great Dr. Sebi thinks that protein is a necessary food. I said, ma'am, I know nothing about protein. Trust me. This word protein came from your parents, from your brother, from your gene, from your culture. That word is not an African word. So if there's anyone today that could explain this protein bit, should be you. What is protein, Dr. Steinberg? She said, one of the 19 amino acids, the building blocks of life. I said, that is the patent answer or response.